Hello and welcome to Joanne's Healing Within. I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, medical astrologer, master of numerology, and the creator of the Chakra Balance Numerology Cosmic Energy Forecast deck. I'm a mom and a wife. And as I say, week after week after week, I'm here for 2021 to help you see yourself as the best version of who you are already. It has been an intensive year. We are literally halfway through the year. We are the last Sunday in August, and I ask you, how are you feeling? But before we dive into that, feel free to put it in the comments how you are feeling. Share, like, and comment, as those who do have a chance to win this week's raffle giveaway. Ian, just want to put a shout out there that if you've missed any of the episodes from last week or any weeks prior, you could definitely go and watch us on Roku and YouTube. Do a marathon for that matter. And let's give a shout out to all of the advertising sponsors that make this show run week after week after week, starting with Nick Rafter. He's our editor, writer, journalist, and he's our real estate agent. So if you are looking for that new home, apartment, or you want to write an article and you need someone to edit that work, he's definitely your go-to. CJ Ives Lopez. She is the host of the Author's Porch and also the publisher of the Author's Porch magazine. Then we have Kendra Greer. He's our astrologer, the one and only, at least the one and only for me. He's amazing, and he's definitely the go-to. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the cosmic world right now. So if you've never had a astrology reading, please reach him up. Connect with him. He may be a little busy right now because he is going through a transition, but reach out to him anyway. Then we have Lisa, and I always say her name wrong. My apologies. So I'm going to leave that blank. I'm going to give it a try. Parenzo, maybe I said it right. She's the CEO and founder of A Healthful Life. She was actually my guest last week. She and I chatted about the cardio versus weight training. I know it's one of my pet peeves in regards to people doing more cardio than weight training and thinking they're actually going to get results from the cardio. So if you missed last week's episode, please go and check it out, because I want to make sure that you are getting the best from the workouts that you are doing, and you're not spending too much time doing something that's not going to be beneficial in the long run. And then last but not least, our last advertising sponsor is Todd Bradbury. He is the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy. He's been on my show since the first Sunday in August, and he's actually my guest today. I'll talk about him in a little while. But before we go there, do you want to ask again, as I asked earlier, how are you feeling with all of this energy? We have a lot of energy going on. Now, I don't know about you, but I know for me, when we are in the midst of our months changing over, where we're changing out of August and we're moving into September, for me, doesn't matter what the month is, when we have that transition, that really screws with my energy. It literally takes me off track. It's almost like the train is going, and all of a sudden the train literally falls off track, and it plays with my emotions. It plays with my psyche. So I'm kind of curious to know if it plays with yours as well. And if it does, just put that in the comments. And those of you who do write that in the comments, I'm going to respond back. And one, if there's many of you who are responding, one of you are going to win a little something from me. But you got to put that in the comments. Let me know how the change of the months changes with your psyche. And also too, when we think about it, we've just changed out of Leo season into Virgo season, and that too plays a huge role on our psyches. For me, no different than if we're changing months as well. And forget about it when we change seasons. That itself. And thank goodness it doesn't all happen at the same time. Sometimes it does. This time it didn't. We've just recently changed over from Leo to Virgo. Virgo energy is all about the scheduling, the routines, the organizing, but it plays a huge role on our health, fitness, wellness, and diet. And depending on where Virgo sits in your chart will determine what the theme is for you. Now, if you're not sure what that actually is, please put in the comments that you'd like to find out more about your astrological chart, and I'll be more than happy to reaching out to you to help you out with that, so you'll have a better understanding to what each zodiac sign and each zodiac season, the season has to do with you and for you. So this way here, it's almost like your navigation system. And it really does work, because when you have a better understanding to what the actual zodiac sign is and how it's playing a role in your chart, can actually help you move along. And not that I'm going to say that you're not going to have moments of confusion and worry, but at least you'll be able to ground yourself better when things are shifting for you. And having this information can be very helpful. I know for myself, it does help me. So with all that being said, I also want to remind you, and we'll talk more about this next week, we are coming into a new moon as of September 7th. So feel free to join me next Sunday as I share insight on this new moon, which will be in Virgo energy. And there's a lot wrapped around this new moon's energy. So it is really important to come and join me so you can gain the benefits of how that new moon is going to influence you as well. And for those of you who have no idea about the difference between new moon and full moon energy, new moon is just that. It energizes the new energies that's coming in. And we have a new moon every 28 days, the same as we have a full moon every 28 days. New moon is generalizing the new, and the full moon is helping to activate anything that needs to be weaned off, so to speak, to make space for that new that comes in. Both energies are equally powerful. The full moon you get to see in the skies is beautiful light that shines out, and the new moon basically you don't see because it's a dark energy, but you definitely feel both of them. So what I like to do with this energy that we are feeling, because we are going to be changing months as of 2 days from now. August 31st is on Tuesday. First day of September is on Wednesday. So we are literally 3 days away, 3, 2, whatever it might be, away from leaving out of August and moving into September energy. And when you think about that energy right now, we're in that 8 in numerology. According to numerology, the number 8 represents the abundance, the harmony, karmic lessons, and also more stability when you think about that 8 energy. We're going to be moving into a 9. 9 is about what you're ready to let go of, what you're ready to declutter. So many of you, if not all of us, are in the process of decluttering, whether it's the material things or the physical things. And decluttering could look like changing, leaving locations, meaning moving, changing jobs, and also people just fading away. It's part of the process of that 9 energy. And again, for those of you who carry a personal 9 energy year, might be feeling this energy more so than someone who carries a 3 energy year, such as myself. Now, if you have no idea what your personal energy year is, again, write in the comments, type in personal energy. This way here, I know where you stand and I know what you need help with, so I can provide that help. So when we think about the 9 energy, as we move into September, it is about letting go, decluttering, completion. So a lot of projects are coming to an end, and also transforming. So we are all transforming into a different version of who we are and getting ourselves prepared as we start to move into 2022. So with all that being said, let me dive into a card, see what card we need to hear for today, what chakra we're going to be working on, what number is going to provide a hidden message, and what word we can use as our affirmation for today. Interesting enough, hopefully you can see that. It's domestic harmony, domestic harmony. So as we are still in the 8 energy for August, it's about the karmic lessons so we can have more domestic harmony. This chakra is the throat chakra. How do you communicate? How do you listen? Listening is just as important as what it is you're saying. Sometimes it's more important. The number 22 is a master number, which is the master builder. In this 8 energy of the karmic lessons and bringing more abundance into your life, as you move into September, perhaps there's going to be some things you're going to be letting go of or tying up loose ends so you can build that new foundation. That's that 22, which carries the same meaning of the 4, which is a new foundation, balance, harmony, but having the patience to build that foundation. So that's our card for today. Let me know how that resonates with you. So now that we got all that out of the way, and again, just one last reminder, if you have not had a chance to check out last week's show and to connect with Lisa, as we spoke about the cardio versus weight training, please go and check her out on Roku or YouTube. And She'll be coming back on at the end of September. I believe it's the last Sunday in September she'll be back on, but I'll be posting more information about that as we get closer. All that being said, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I will have my guest with me. I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, I'm Natan Bradbury. I'm a veteran, Kabbalist, mystic, coach, and spiritual mentor. I have been blessed to help many students on their spiritual journey over the last 20 years. I am currently the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy, and what we're doing is we're helping veterans heal from the inside out, overcome any sort of emotional trauma that they've been through. So if you're a veteran, a therapist, or a coach, and are interested in learning more about our program, you can contact us directly at info@mysticwarrioracademy.com. Blessings.
Hey guys, welcome. We are back on the Author Sports. I am so excited to be here with my co-host Anastasia. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good. It's so good to see you again. We don't get to see each other very often. We might have to do this every week, right? Tonight we are also talking with Scott.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. And I just did a great introduction, talked about the energy. I was going to say talked about the weather. It could very well be the weather when you really think about it. However, it's been cloudy where I am. How about you? Do you have the sun? Do you have the heat? Or do you have cold and clouds like we do? But anyway, if you are just tuning in, remember to share, like, and comment. If you missed last week's show, please go and watch on Roku or YouTube. As last week, my guest and I, Lisa, spoke about cardio versus weight training, one of my favorite topics, and lots of misinformation in the cardio and weight training aspects in the health, fitness, and wellness industries. A lot of confusing information for that matter. Anyway, so let me just dive into the card for those of you who are just joining us now. Our card for the day is domestic harmony. And how many of us would love to have more domestic harmony? I'm sure we all would. And with all this energy that's going on, every one of us are feeling something, whether it's feeling something emotional, physical, mental, or all of the above. The throat chakra. We can all use some work on our throat chakra. All of us can use the work on our throat chakra. If you have any crystals, I recommend putting a crystal right on the throat. Doesn't matter if it's associated with the throat. Just put it on there. Activate it so it can help you clear the energy of your throat so you can begin to communicate better. And even better, activating your hearing so you can actually pay attention and listen to what the other person's actually saying. Or what I like to say is communicate with spirit, because spirit provides so much more information, and it's actually more accurate than if you're having a conversation with somebody else. 22 is a master number and carries the energy of the master builder. Holds the meaning of the 4, which is all about building a new foundation, the balance of having patience as you build your foundation, because nothing that we build is going to be built overnight. So it takes time. The same concept goes with domestic harmony. Building more harmony in your household is going to take time and work. So have the patience. Don't give up just about a mile before you're going to finish or see that big win. And that's what happens with many of us. We get so frustrated that we throw in the towel just as things start to shift. So I'm asking you not to do that. I'm asking you to hang tight and just dive in, stay grounded. That's the word I'm hearing for you right now. Stay grounded, because as you stay grounded, you're going to be able to be more focused And by being more focused, you're going to be able to stabilize your mind, body, and spirit, and more importantly, stabilize your emotions and also your thoughts, because our thoughts create our emotions. And if you're not thinking something positive, that's going to create a lot of confusion and anxiety in the heart center. And it's really interesting because once my guest gets here, we are actually going to be speaking about creating. What it is we create, and recognizing that, do you even realize that you are the creator to every situation that goes on in your life, whether you are aware of it or not? And I'm really, really excited, not even anxious, but excited to have my guest come on to share about this information. And if he doesn't get here soon, then I'm just going to dive in and then he'll add on, whatever the case might be. But when we think about being the creator, recognizing that, here he goes, right on time as we save the bell before I dive into the conversation. So I'm just going to give him a minute to tune in, to dive in with us. Can you hear me,
I don't
Natai?
hear any audio. One second.
We can hear you, but he can't hear us yet. Interesting. I tell you, we have to, it's so interesting that we are not in Mercury retrograde, but there's a lot of energy going on in the cosmic world that does, even though it's not Mercury retrograde, but does mess around with our technology, messes around with our energy. And when our energy is off track, that messes around the energy around us as well. So we have to stop blaming everything on Mercury and start taking some responsibility for our own energy. So I think he can hear us now because of the faces he's giving me. Yes. So here we have it, Natai Bradbury. He's been on my show more times than I can count, but very worth being here because he's got so much to share. So Natai, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Nathan Bradbury. I am the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy. And today we're going to continue our series on masculine and feminine energy.
I'm loving your t-shirt.
Thank you.
Yes, that's your logo, yes?
It absolutely is.
I love it.
Tree of Life, 2 lions, the Hamsa, and then the warrior swords.
I love it. Love it. Thank you for wearing that today. Love it. So as I was getting ready to dive right into our conversation, because I'm so excited about it, our topic is about creating. So talk to our viewers, tell them what that actually means. What is creating?
Oh, wow. I mean, it's such a huge and vast area, right? But as it relates to masculine and feminine energy, the energy of creation, intuition and ideas and whatnot is all feminine energy, right? And so what we find is for someone to really tap into that creative space, you have to either be in a meditative state or in a state of relaxation. Sometimes when you're meditating, right, ideas and they're called downloads or insight, whatever you want to call them, right? But they'll sort of come to you when you're in that state. And so what that does is, there's something very important that I think people need to understand about creative ideas, is that as all things are energy, right? These ideas come to you, but they don't just come to you. If you do not take action on these ideas, they'll go to someone else. And then they'll go out into the world for someone else to create.
Hold that thought. My idea, if I don't take action on an idea that I get, goes to somebody else?
100%. Yep.
Shame on that.
Well, it's very interesting. I mean, have you ever thought, when you're through your life, you've seen somebody had developed something, or something's come to fruition, and you're like, yeah, I had an idea for that years ago. You didn't take action, so the idea went to someone else. And
I thought it's because I might have spoken about it, and then the person stole my idea.
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. No, it's very interesting. And we find that happens with inventions, music, all poetry, art, right? And so these things that come to us, it's very important for us to respond to them, right? And take some sort of action. It doesn't mean, okay, I've got an idea to create a better light bulb. Well, that takes a process, right? There's a process to that. But if you get started on that process, then it's still with you. But if any point you stop in that process, it's done. It's going on to someone else.
Oh, wow. Now, is there a time frame? Because my logical brain needs to know this answer. Is there a time frame to something like this, or is it just one of those things that just happen? Like, how's that work?
So that's interesting. I think we'd have to do some scientific investigation on that in terms of the actual time frame. But my opinion is this: if you're working on it, it's still with you, right? If at any point you stop and you're done, right, then it's going to go to someone else.
Oh, wow. Interesting. I did not know this. I learned something today. And they say you cannot teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I don't believe that. Yeah, I did not know that. I was not aware that once a invention, so to speak, comes to one's mind, knowledge, wisdom, and you don't act on it, that it appears someplace else. That's
Yeah,
so
100%, right? And that gets back to living in the quantum field, right? And so for our viewers, the quantum field is basically, it's the world of infinite potential, infinite possibility, right? And you and I, and all those who are watching are part of this quantum field, right? And so what happens is when two particles are connected, okay, well, if one particle doesn't act on that type of energy, another particle is going to respond, right? And so that's what happens when it comes to creation.
Now, question on that. When we think about the wisdom that's being downloaded, now does the wisdom actually get downloaded to multiple people at the same time, or is it really just being no? Okay, so it's really being downloaded to me, and if I don't act on it in a short period of time, somebody else will start to receive that same download.
Right. Now, when it comes to something like wisdom, right? A lot of times it's the things that resonate with us, right? So, for example, in one place, when you were a kid, you may have read about Bruce Lee comes to mind, right? And some of his sayings about being still like water and whatnot, right? And then years later, you're reading Lao Tzu, and Lao Tzu says the same thing. Oh, okay, right? And there's sort of a correlation when it comes to wisdom. But when it comes to like the act of creating, writing a book would be a good example, right? And as long as it's not a biography, let me be kind of clear on that, right? If you're writing a fictional story about a fictional character, right? And you have this idea, you've got all these ideas, but you don't act on it, it's going to go somewhere else.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. So, and when we think about our creating, our thought process, what it is we are talking about, what it is we're listening to, the same concept goes on, correct?
Right. Yeah, and it's very interesting, right? When it comes to like the actual act of creation. Okay, so let's kind of break it down. To create something actually follows a pattern, okay? And that pattern begins with a thought, but then with that thought comes an emotion, okay? There's some sort of emotional attachment to that thought. And depending on the strength of that emotion, taking that, matching that up with action, that's how you create your reality, right? So taking it down a level to something basic, right? Say, okay, I want to have a good day today, right? Okay, so there's a certain pattern that follows. It starts with thinking of something you're grateful for, right? At the beginning of your day, thinking of that, feeling really, really good about that, and then acting from that space. And what that does is that creates a great day. Yes. Now, the reverse is also true. Or if you begin your morning, man, my life sucks. I feel aches and pains. I don't want to get out of bed. I hate my life. I hate my job, right? And then you act from that space, well, you've just created your own hell, right? So the choice of your reality, it's really in your hands.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers can definitely relate between the two. I mean, I think theoretically, the creating the negative day seems to be a little easier for the average because we're not even aware. Like, for example, if you woke up late, the first thing out of your mind is, oh my God, I'm late. And it's like this domino effect of everything's going to take longer to do because you've already said, I'm late. So you put out that energy, you created that process of I'm late. So the universe then has to create different obstacles to prove that you're late, as opposed to you get up late, but you're not saying, oh shit, I'm late. You're saying, oh, I need to move so I can get to where I have to go.
Right.
And when you do it in that way, now the universe turns around and says, oh, I heard she needs to move to get to where she's got to go. So things are going to open up. And it's like I always say, it's like I add time to my day by doing that. All of a sudden, I get this unlimited amount of time, even though I might have gotten up late. All of a sudden, everything is on track again.
So
Just
that's a
based off
funny
the
thing.
thought.
Well, that's a funny thing about time. Uh, Time is relative, right? And so what I've learned over the years is that time either increases or decreases depending upon the energy that you put into the moment, right? So if the energy that you're injecting into that moment is positive energy, then time expands. If the energy you're injecting into that moment is negative energy, it can decrease, it can collapse, right? And that really depends on the circumstance and the way you want to view time, right? So let me flip it around for a moment. For example, we've been on this show a number of times, and the conversation flows, and it's like 5 minutes have passed.
Yes.
Right? But in that case, time has collapsed, but it has had a positive effect, right? So it's very, very interesting. Time is a funny thing. It's really completely relative to the moment.
Exactly. Yes. Now I want to ask this question because I'm sure there's a lot of viewers kind of curious on this because I'm curious of it. And that is when someone wakes up not feeling well, for whatever the reasons are, and I can speak from experience because, for the last couple of days, I woke up and just not feeling my normal, like, uplifted, energizing, ready to go, want to be in front of camera and doing my usual thing.
Right.
How does one, now I know the things that I do, so I can be on camera today, but how does one transition that energy because they don't feel well? How do they transition that?
So it's very, very interesting. And I think the key there is how they're feeling, right? So how are you feeling based on what you're experiencing? So again, that gets back to you choosing how you want to create your reality. So you can either choose the option, well, I feel like shit. I'm just done. Day's over. Forget it. I'm going back to bed, right? That's one option. The other option is, okay, I'm noticing and I'm observing that I'm not feeling well. However, I know there are certain things I can do in order to change that experience, right? So for example, okay, my stomach's not feeling well, I can take this. Or I'm not feeling well in this situation, maybe I can take this to help me, right? And then how we respond to that energy, that energy input changes the experience.
Interesting. I love that. Yes, because that's exactly what I did. Yesterday, got home from work and lay down in bed, attempted to put on a movie. And I had said to my husband, I said, you know what? Because I knew he was tired. I said, let's turn off the TV and let's just rest. And once he left to go to work, I just stayed in bed because I was just like, oh my God. I'm like, this is crazy. I just, energetically, I just felt like there was just so much energy going on collectively that I was just feeling it. But then this morning, when I got up, I wasn't feeling so great, but I was like, okay, I need to redirect my energy a little bit so I can be what I'm supposed to be for today, being here on the TV, being here on my show.
Right, exactly.
And being productive. So I had to switch what it was I wanted to create. Yes, did I want to stay in my bed? Of course I wanted to lay in the bed, but I'm like, gotta get up, gotta get up, gotta get outside, gotta just get out of the energy, and whether it be oils, crystals, whatever it might be, just to create a different energy for myself.
Right.
You know, so I do believe, again, like you said, it's creating. What do we want to create instead?
Exactly. And it's understanding that first and foremost, we are responsible, right? And so the idea, the mentality of, and I've been there, right? I'll be the first to admit it, especially lately with everything I've been going through, right? It's very, very easy to slip back into that lower state, right? What we'll call it the physical world, where everything happens to me. I'm a victim of circumstance. They did this, they did that, right? And really what that does is that strips you of your power, right? That you're basically giving away all your power and saying, well, I'm just a victim of circumstance, and shrug your shoulders and trudge through life, right? And I think there are various times where the experience we're going through is so heavy that sometimes we get into that state, right? And that's, I'm not going to call it bad or good, right? It just is. It's part of the physical reality, right? But we can elevate or ascend, or however you want to call it, right? By changing how we're feeling about what we experience, right? And so one key thing I want to hit on here is, number one, our experiences do not create our emotions, okay? So there are, how do I say it, right? When we're going through an experience that generates, okay, certain feelings, right? And based on these feelings, most people, I've done it, tend to act from that place, right? But if you step back, if you take a moment, if you observe and say, okay, this is interesting. I'm feeling this way, but I don't like feeling this way. How can I change it, right? And then start shifting how you're feeling about what you're experiencing. You may still be experiencing the shittiest experience. It may be like the worst thing in the world, but if you change how you feel about that experience, it becomes completely different.
So now I want to go back to that statement you made regarding, because it's playing in my head. What we're creating does not impact our emotions. So our emotions do not get impact from what we're creating. Is that what you just said? Or did I have it the other way?
I know it's a little confusing, right? Okay, so basically, when we create with intention, we're always creating,
yes.
Right? Always. But there's a difference between intentional creation and unintentional creation. Okay, so I would call unintentional creation is you're experiencing something, you're feeling a certain way about it, and then you're acting from that way, right? That would be an unintentional creation, and it's probably not going to be the best experience, okay? Now, there's also intentional creation, and that's where, okay, you're experiencing something, you're feeling a certain kind of way about it, but you step back and you want to change it, right? Like, okay, I want to change how I'm feeling about this experience because I really don't like the way it feels. And that's when you can shift into, okay, a place of gratitude, right? Gratitude it really is a game changer. It's a very, very simple and easy way to find one thing in your life you're grateful for, even if it's just one. Yes. And then you start shifting that energy.
So now when we think about the creating, and then we also think about the emotions. So obviously, whatever's going on collectively, you have people who react to the energy of what's going on. React is the word I'm going to use.
Yep.
And because they react to the energy that's going on collectively, then emotionally, they start to get either angry, anxious, worried.
Yes.
So the emotions are the things that show up because of the things that they're creating. Correct?
Yes, yes. So I would say, so remember the pattern. The pattern is thought, emotion, action.
Yes.
Okay. So the emotion is what you're experiencing, right? And you change. Okay, I'm experiencing right now. I'm feeling angry about something. Okay, well, I can change that if I step outside of myself and stop. Okay, well, okay, I'm feeling angry, but do I need to feel angry? Is there something I need to learn here? Is, what does that process look like for you? And then you have to look at that process and say, okay, let's start shifting this and changing this, because this isn't me.
Exactly. The same thing would go from what I'm hearing and understanding on an intuitive level is that when, let's say, anger does show up for whatever it is the person's creating, there
Sure.
could be a reason, like you said, that the anger is showing up because there's something that they're supposed to dig deeper into to understand why anger is there to begin with.
Right.
What the situation is that they've created may not be the actual thing that's causing the anger.
Right.
Right. It could be something.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, it could be something that's deeper rooted and that has surfaced. And because again, people are aware of their emotions. They recognize what anger looks like and from their own point of view, so they feel angry about something.
Mm-hmm.
But are they feeling angry about the very thing that they are focused on in this very moment? Is that what's really causing the anger? Or is it something that stems a little deeper, which is what they might have to evaluate as opposed to the thing that they are creating in the very moment? Yes?
Yeah, I would say 99% of the time when you're experiencing anger, it's based on something else, right? It's not based on what you're experiencing in the moment. Perfect example, right? A driver cuts in front of you, cuts you off, you flip them off, right? That's very common. I used to do that. I've gotten a bit better about that. Right?
I send them blessings when that happens.
There you go. Right? But really, you're not angry about the person that just cut you off. You're angry about something else. It's whatever that. So again, getting into triggers, right? Okay, so now we're looking at triggers, and okay, well, this just triggered you. Why did it trigger you? What's going on? Right?
Mm-hmm.
What's deeper below the surface that you really need to start looking at? So if you think about anger as a way to facilitate self-work, as a way to facilitate healing, it becomes a completely different experience.
Mm-hmm. And I would also say too, as long as they stay focused on the thing that's causing them to be angry, they continue to create more situations
Yep.
that's going to match that emotion of anger.
Absolutely. And that actually delves deeper into, any other sort of emotion. Let's talk about fear, for example, right? Fear is an extremely powerful emotion. It's been both used and misused over the centuries, right? To get people to act a certain kind of a way.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is so deep and so biologically ingrained, right? But there's a reason for it. Now, you may look at it, okay, well, there's a biological reason for fear, or, whatever the case may be. But if you kind of dig deep into the emotion, okay, why am I feeling afraid about this situation? What am I really afraid of here? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well,
Yes.
I'm afraid of dying. Well, but why are you afraid of dying? Oh, okay, you're afraid of leaving your kids. Oh, okay. Why are you afraid of leaving your kids? Right? And kind of going through that process and digging deeper and deeper and deeper, because
Exactly.
nothing is ever as it seems on the surface.
Exactly. It's peeling back the onion to get to the actual true source or real source of where it all stems from.
Right. Yep.
Yes. And it's perfect timing because we do need to take a commercial break. Let our viewers know how they can reach you with the information that's on that flyer.
Beautiful. You can reach me at www.mysticwarrioracademy.com or info@mysticwarrioracademy.com.
Awesome. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to continue with our topic. We'll be right back.
Hi guys, I'm Kendrick Cortez Greer, personal astrologer and astrological counselor here in Brooklyn, New York. I've been an astrologer for over 23 years now, providing astrological readings, counseling sessions, workshops, and corporate events all throughout the tri-state area. I've been very blessed and lucky to have clients all throughout the United States and beyond. If you're interested in a reading that is warm, heartfelt, honest, and conducive to speaking to one of your best friends, please contact me at 917-863-7528. You can also email me at kendrickstar@gmail.com. That's Kendrick, STAR, @gmail.com. And for you Insta people, find me on Instagram at Kendrick Cortez Astrology. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Toodles.
There is no one-size-fits-all diet plan, so why would your fitness routine be any different? At A Healthful Life, we believe that fitness and conditioning should be tailored to you, and that's why we're offering a free consultation to anyone who reaches out to us right now. Mention this ad and you'll receive 20% off of your 90-day personalized fitness program. Visit ahealthfullife.org now to begin your journey to a more healthful you. ahealthfullife.org.
Hello, my name is Nick Rafter, journalist, writer, editor. I'm happy to be offering copy editing and line editing services at competitive industry rates. If you have a book or any document that needs to be edited and thoroughly looked through, please contact me at nickrafter@gmail.com. Let's discuss how to get that work done. That's Nick Rafter, NICKRAFTER, @gmail.com. I hope to hear from you soon.
Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, and I have my amazing guest. He's been here more times than I can count, Bradbury. He is the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy, and he and I have been chatting about, mostly he's been chatting about creating, what it is we are creating, and we're diving right into, as we were just talking during the commercial break, that when you speak, you create. What exactly does that mean? Because I speak a lot.
Okay, so it's very interesting. Abracadabra, right? Everyone's heard it. Everyone's familiar with it. They think it's some magical formula. It's not.
It's not. And I thought I was magic when I used it. All right.
No, this is not Harry Potter, and you're not casting spells with
Damn it.
No,
you're disappointing me. I was ready to grab my magic wand.
I gotta burst the bubble. Well, it's very fascinating, right? If you look at the world of magic and you look at the world of Harry Potter, the wand is simply an object in order to get the wizard to believe that they have the capability to create, right? So we, as human beings, we're creating all the time. Okay, like we talked about before the commercial break, whether from a place of unintentional or intentional. And so abracadabra, it's actually an Aramaic phrase. What that means is I create what I speak. So every word that you create, every word that you speak it's becoming an energy form, right? You're creating a vessel for the energy to flow into, and thereby creating something out in the physical world, matter, right? So when you think about that and you really think just how powerful your words are, okay? I'll give some examples from our class, right? And so in our class that we were in, we talked about some of the different ways of creation and just how powerful your words are. Okay, so for example, if I say, I'm going to do X, but I fail to do X. What does that mean? That means that I have destroyed the world in which I was going to do X, and I've created an alternate reality in which I have not done X.
Interesting. Now let me ask you, because as you say, you create when you speak, but do you also create when you think?
So you do, in the sense of when you think, what's the emotion that's being accompanied with that, right? So how to explain it? From the Kabbalah, there are 4 different levels of creation, okay? There's the physical, there's the world of the physical, there's the world of emotion, there's the world of thought, and then there's the highest, which is infinite beingness, right? Infinite consciousness. So when you're thinking something and when you're combining that with an emotion, in order to manifest that into the physical world, you have to take some sort of action. Now, okay, so what if you didn't take some sort of action? What if just by your thought, did you actually create anything? Well, that depends. I'll give you an example right from the show, right? When I did the chi manipulation with Nick, right? So what I did, it didn't look like I was doing anything. It looked like I was just sleeping, right? But it did, right? But I was actually doing something, right? So I had the thought, and then I went into, we'll call it an ascension, a meditative state. And in that meditative state, I was actually doing something. Now, I didn't need to move my physical body, right? Because I was in, we'll call it the quantum world, right? I was working in the quantum field, but I was still doing something. Now, without taking a physical action, can you still influence the quantum field? Yes, absolutely. That's how prayer works. That's how meditation works. You can still have that kind of an influence. Now, is that going to create something into your reality? Not necessarily, right? But that can end up creating something for someone else's reality.
Interesting. Interesting. So to sum it all up, reality comes down to is what we are actually creating comes from what we are speaking it out, setting the intention. I mean, obviously it comes from the thought first because the download comes in. We're being given some sort of wisdom where, like for myself, I'll use me as an example. When I decided to create my deck of cards, I mean, in my mind, I had said, where the hell did that idea come from? Obviously, it was a download that I received because nowhere in my mind, if people say to me, I didn't know you wanted to create a deck of cards. My answer was, I didn't know neither, but I did. And, and I acted on it, as you said. So I created this deck of cards.
Right.
Based on the download. So upon receiving the download, in my mind, it was like I had this vision of what my deck of cards was going to look like. And from that vision, then I was able to articulate to the person who created them for me, and then put that into the motion where I spoke it out to the person who was creating the cards.
Right.
And then the reality is I have this deck of cards in my hands.
And when I say speech, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical speech, right? It could be writing it out, right? That's another, technically speaking, no pun intended. That's another form of communication, right? You can write it out, and that's another way of creation, right? That's how poetry really has come into being, right? All the stories of throughout history. That's another method of creation, right? But again, another important thing to remember is, okay, there's the thought, there's also the emotion. And that's really, really super important to remember, is because based on how we feel about that emotion, that makes the action that much stronger, right?
Exactly.
What that does is that adds energy, that makes that drive, that push stronger. If you get a download, right? We'll use that as a term to say, okay, tomorrow I want to go walk 6 miles. Okay, great. How do you feel about that? Does it really, what is that doing, right? And so what I really want to underscore here is the process: thought, emotion, action, right?
Yes.
Just so we can understand that that's literally the process of creation.
Yeah, and what I want to add to that as well, since we're talking about walking 6 miles, as you said, the emotion behind it. So if someone is looking to walk 6 miles, if they can focus their energy on that walk is going to be powerful, strong, receiving downloads, the walk is going to be a very powerful walk. They're going to enjoy that walk. But if they have a lot of negative energy connected to that walk, then that's what that walk's going to bring as well, a lot of negative energy, which might connect to physical discomfort.
Right. Yep. That's absolutely true.
So with that being said, again, we are the creator to our experiences.
Yep. Yeah, there's absolutely no question. And I think that's very important to understand is the power we have as human beings to create. There are no other beings that walk this earth that have that kind of power, right? A lot of times people have been compared to animals and, oh, well, the animals are smarter than we are. A dolphin can't paint a masterpiece, right? They don't have that sort of power or insight, like to create something like that and to really understand and appreciate that, right? So I think it's important to understand our unique ability, not only our ability, but our roles and our responsibilities. Because with our speech, to curse someone, to say F you or I hate you, dude, you're literally cursing someone when you're doing that, right? And so people think magic is, oh, well, I've got to do this potion or I've got to do this ritual. No, it's just as simple as what you're speaking, right? So if you speak the words, I love you, that's a blessing. If you speak the words, I hate you, that's a curse.
Exactly. It's what you said before. It doesn't actually have to be a word that you verbalize. You can take these same words because the words are letters. And when we think about letters, it's spelling. And we are literally putting a spell on everything that we do, whether we're speaking it out or writing it out. We are putting a spell on whatever action that we're looking to take.
Yep.
So with that being said, Natad, if you can give one tip for our viewers in regards to when they wake in the morning, because I think that's the most important time of day to really set what we're going to create. So if you can give one tip for our viewers, what would that be?
Honestly, the best tip I could give you is to wake up with gratitude, right? First thing when you open your eyes, express gratitude, because that will help set your emotional state for the rest of the day.
Excellent. I love that. And as usual, before we take a commercial break, what I like to do, Natad, would you like to be the one to give the raffle giveaway for today, or do you want me to do it?
I think I'm going to defer to you this time.
Excellent. So I will. So for those of you who shared, like, and comment for today's show, you'll get to take advantage of winning a 30-minute Reiki treatment, because I think that's really important for today's show in reference to getting the energy to move around so you can start creating the very thing you're looking to create. So a 30-minute Reiki treatment for anyone who shared, like, and comment. Your name's going to go into the jar. One name will be pulled, and I will announce the lucky winner next week's show. As for last week's show, our winner for last week's show, let me get my notes. Where are my notes? I know I wrote them. Here we go. Last week's show, our winner is Michelle Astor, and you've won I believe it's a 60-minute session with Lisa. Oh my God, 60 minutes talking with Lisa about health, fitness, and wellness. I wish I were you. So congratulations to Michelle Astor. You are our raffle winner from last week's show. Natad, let everybody know how they can reach you one last time.
Absolutely. www.mysticwarrioracademy.com or info@mysticwarrioracademy.com.
Excellent. And for those who are loving Natad and the conversations that he and I have, he's going to be back on in October 10th. And Lord knows what we'll be talking about then. But tune in at that point. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'll be back to give you the conclusion of today's show. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Joe Monkman, and I am a personal development trainer. And that means that I help people step into their leadership roles, take their place as a visionary, really understand their own mastery in the world so that they can really find their place at the buffet of life. And if you want to know more, you can find me on my Facebook page at Joe Monkman and joemonkman@gmail.com.
Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Bradbury. I'm a veteran, Kabbalist, mystic, coach, and spiritual mentor. I have been blessed to help many students on their spiritual journey over the last 20 years. I am currently the founder of the Mystic Warrior Academy, and what we're doing is we're helping veterans heal from the inside out, overcome any sort of emotional trauma that they've been through. So if you're a veteran, a therapist, or a coach, and are interested in learning more about our program, you can contact us directly at info@mysticwarrioracademy.com. Blessings.
Are you curious to know what's in store for you in the cosmic world? Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified holistic personal trainer, intuitive healer, and cosmic energy reader. And I've created a 6-month, 3-card cosmic forecast with you in mind. Each card features your sun, moon, and rising sign. To learn more, email healingwithin76@gmail.com. I do look forward to sharing insight, inspiration, and intuition with you. Each monthly forecast can be redeemed via email, video, or Zoom. Email healingwithin76@gmail.com. Mention this ad and receive a special rate. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Healing Within. For those of you who are just tuning in, you're definitely going to have to go and watch us on Roku or YouTube. Well, come back and watch it right here on Strong Island Television. As you missed an amazing show, I had my amazing guest, Natai Bradbury, who is the founder of the Mystic Academy. Oh my God, I lost his name. Hello, the Mystic Warrior Academy. Had a brain fart there. And he and I chatted about creating. Did you know that you are the creator to your experiences just by what it is you speak out and the wisdom that is downloaded? So start acting on the wisdom you receive because it's for you. Otherwise, you miss it and someone else gets it. So come back and watch the show again, whether again you want to watch on Roku or YouTube, just to catch today's show. Now, for those of you who are interested in knowing week from week who's on, next week, Nick Rafter will be back on with me. He's been on my show a handful of times as well. And we're probably going to be talking about what's going on in his life at this time, because there is a lot of things shifting for him. So tune in for Nick Rafter for next week's show. And I just want to give a big shout out for those who are promoting some amazing services out there. We're going to start with Alive by Gabriella. Are you frustrated with not having the answers or the insights that you're looking to have? Connect with Gabriella. Her information's on that flyer. And then we have Spirit Messages from Joe Monkman. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, he comes together with a group of us via Zoom, and we have an amazing conversation. He taps into spirit, he gains insight. Usually before the show, he sends an email letting us know 3 words that's going to be the theme of the actual session, and then he does individual messages as well. So again, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with Joe Monkman. You definitely want to tune in because he shares a lot of insight. Then we also have The Author's Porch by CJ Ives Lopez. She is the host of the podcast, The Author's Porch, and she's also the publisher of the Author Porch magazine, which I don't have here to show you. Darn it. But anyway, if you are looking to get yourself in front of a large audience, definitely connect with her for the podcast. If you're looking to get an ad or an article in a magazine, connect with her for that as well. And I think that's it regarding our ads for this week. So with all that being said, I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you next Sunday. Oh, before I go ahead and forget, there is one other one. I always seem to forget one. It's the first Wednesday coming up this week. We're moving into September. So I have a flyer there that shares about my guest who's going to be on my radio show, Joanne's Cosmic Energy. My amazing Alicia. She is, oh my gosh, she's so much. She's a host. She's a publisher. She's an editor. Oh my Lord. You definitely want to come and tune in. First Wednesday, which is September 1st. That's this Wednesday coming up. 3 p.m. Eastern Time. She and I will be sharing her talking all about her. She's going to share all the amazing programs that she is a part of and how she can help you as well. Because as I said, she's a publisher, she's an editor, she's the creator, talking about creating. She's a creator and she could definitely help you get things done. So come join me on Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time for Joanne's Cosmic Energy radio show right here, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. All that being said, have yourself an awesome rest of the day. I look forward to seeing everybody next Sunday or next Wednesday. Obviously, Wednesday comes first, so see you then. Bye-bye for now.